Hello. So this is Ms. Trejo, your math teacher. If you missed today's live session, no worries. I'm gonna go over what we did today for class and any instructions or updates that you will need. So first, you should see my screen. Make sure you work on the Do Now in Schoology. That is in the week 2 Wednesday folder. That should be the first thing that you do. So if you want, go ahead and pause, work on that Do Now. Once you turn it in, submit it, come back and play the video. Okay, that's good. So today we're going to understand and determine sets and subsets of rational numbers by taking some notes. Okay. Just to let you know, this Friday I have scheduled a quiz for your class, so be on the lookout for that. I really hope that you can be a part of our live sessions. If not, just keep hanging on and just watch these videos because they are going to be helpful to you. Okay, so let me share what I want for you to look at. Okay, so this is our math journal for our class. If you don't have a journal, I highly recommend you getting one. We do take notes in it often. So far, we've covered 2 different topics. We've covered rational numbers and decimals, as well as today, relationships between sets of rational numbers. If you want me to, I can send you pictures of rational numbers and decimals so you can get those notes, okay? Here they are right here. Or I can kind of zoom out. Right there. I'll zoom out, and then if you want, you can pause and then take those notes in your journal. So there it is. I give you the definition of a rational number, a repeating decimal, and a terminating decimal, and some examples. Okay, so I'll leave that there so you can pause the video, write them down in your journal. Okay, make sure you label that page 1. Okay, now page 2 is going to be something like this. We're going to go over the vocabulary words in the PowerPoint, and you're going to do this Venn diagram at the bottom. So again, I will leave it here so you can pause, take the notes down. And you're also going to see it in the PowerPoint that I created, so no worries. Okay, so that is our math journal. Again, it's I think it's super important to have one. So we do take notes almost every single day, okay? And let me pull up the PowerPoint that we are going to use for today. So we're going to go over rational numbers and the relationship between different types of sets, okay? So let me move to the next slide. So I kind of want to touch base on this. So this is what we're basically going to target today. We're going to understand and determine sets and subsets of rational numbers. We're also going to be able to describe the relationships between sets and subsets of rational numbers and then classify them, okay? So this is our learning targets for today. I think it's important for us to see exactly what we are targeting each topic. All right, so here are some academic vocabulary words for this topic. Please write this one in the journal. You should have already seen it previously. I showed you the picture, or I showed you on the journal what it looks like. So we have a set, which is a group of terms. There's the first one. A subset is a set contained within another set. Whole numbers are numbers that start at 0. So this is where it starts and it goes up, and it's all the positive numbers that we have. The next one are integers. They contain whole numbers and their opposites. So I wrote some examples here. So -4, -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And anything more than 4, anything less than -4. Those are integers. And then rational numbers, I want you to think the word fractions. So we can have something like this, that is a rational number. We can also have something like this, that is also a rational number. We can have something like this is also a rational number. And we can also have something like this is also a rational number. Okay, so anything that kind of looks like a fraction or a decimal will be considered a rational number. Okay, let me clear the deck here and we can go to the next slide. All right, so this is a Venn diagram of classifying the different types of numbers that we will see this year in 7th grade. That first one are the one in the middle, this lilac purpley color, are whole numbers. Remember, whole numbers are 0 and all the positive numbers that we can think of. So they gave us 0, 17. We can also put here some big number like 212. That's also a whole number. We can go maybe like 1,276. That is also a whole number. Remember, integers are whole numbers as well as their opposites. So we have 17 here. Well, what's the opposite of 17? -17. We had 212 here. What's the opposite of that? -212. And here we had 1,276. Opposite is 1,276. Okay. Now, rational numbers, remember, are fractions or decimals. So they've given us a good amount of examples here. I'm going to add just a few more so we can really understand and get the concept of rational numbers. So notice we see mixed numbers, we see regular fractions, we see decimals, we see repeating decimals, we see terminating decimals, we see negative repeating decimals. So we can also have something that we've probably seen already, right? 1/2, that is a rational number. We can also have maybe -1.65, that is a rational number. We can also see maybe -3/4, that's a rational number. One more, we can also do maybe 2 2/5. That is also a rational number. Okay, so anything that looks like a fraction or a decimal, whether it's positive or negative, will be considered a rational number. So let's remember that. We're gonna do some examples together, and then from there you will do your independent practice. Okay. So the next slide, we are going to classify these 4 numbers and see where did they belong. So have your journal with you with those notes, and I'm gonna label W for whole number, so we can remember that Venn diagram. I for integer, oops, and R for rational number, okay? We're gonna see where did this number is like. So letter A, we have 37. So let's start rational number. So let's start with this one here. So can we turn this into a fraction? The answer is yes. We can put it over 1 and turn this into a fraction. And that means that 37 is considered a rational number, okay? Is it also an integer? Yes, because integers are whole numbers and their opposites. So this is a positive whole number. So technically it's both an integer and a whole number. So that means 37 would be considered all 3. So we can actually place him right here in the middle because he contains the whole number, the integer, and the rational number, okay? Let's look at letter B. I'm gonna color coordinate. -56.12. Well, remember we said rational numbers are fractions or decimals. So this guy is a decimal. So that means I can place him here for sure. But can I place him in an integer? I want you to think about that. Can I place this one in an integer? The answer would be no, because it's a decimal. I can no longer go any further into this Venn diagram. So that means letter B, negative 56.12, would lie here. And that's it. That means it does not contain, it is not an integer, and it is not a whole number. Okay. Now let's look at the next one. Let me change the color. We have negative 98. So remember, let's think about rational numbers are fractions. Can I turn this into a fraction? Absolutely. You can just put it over 1, make this a rational number. Can I label it in an integer? Well, it is a whole number with their opposite. So if I were to take off that negative, right, that would be 98. Opposite of 98 is negative 98. So yes, it in fact is an integer. Is it a whole number? Well, no, remember, whole numbers are 0 and all the positives, and this is a negative. So I cannot place him in the whole number category, but the farthest I can take it is here, meaning it is an integer and a rational number. So that's what we wrote here. And then the last one we have is 7/8. I'm gonna do that one in black. 7/8. Remember, let's think rational number, fraction. Is that a fraction? Absolutely, 100%. Yes, that is. Integer. Integer are opposites, whole numbers and their opposites, but no, because this is a fraction, I cannot move it into integer portion, meaning he's gonna stay here. So he's 7/8, he's only rational. Okay, so these are how we can classify numbers by what set or sets they belong to. Okay, and please write these down in your journal. I'm gonna move on, but make sure you look at that and see the problem, pause it so you have some time to write it down, okay? I'll move on to the next slide. All right, so now in your Go Math book, up here, I have page 14, right here, page 14. You're gonna do problems 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I'm gonna have you pause this video. I want you to be honest and pause it. And then I'm going to tell you the answers for this 4 problems, okay? So let's pause it. You're gonna work on the 4 problems, unpause, and then you're gonna come back to me telling you the answers, okay? All right, welcome back. So I'm very happy to see that you went ahead and did this independently. And this is a great way for you to just check to see if you're right, okay? What I love about learning is it's okay to be wrong, and that's how we learn, okay? The only thing is I ask you to try and give me everything you got. And, you know, whenever I ask for the, for what I'm asking you, go ahead and, you know, kind of do what I say. All right, so here on the side, I'm just gonna write that little circle. I'm gonna write that Venn diagram. Okay, and we're gonna classify these numbers. So -8, if I put it over 1, this is a rational number. I'm just gonna abbreviate. An integer, absolutely, because it's a negative. So that means -8 falls in 2 categories or 2 sets, and I'm gonna put him there, -8. Okay, number 2, -102.55. Remember, rational numbers are decimals and fractions. So yes, he is rational. Is he an integer? No, because he has decimals. I cannot take him to the integer portion, which means I can't even go to the whole number. So number 2 is only rational. Number 3, remember, look at this one. This one's a fraction. So I know for sure he is a rational number. Is he an integer? No, because he's a fraction. I can't take him any further. Number 4, we have 3. We put it over 1. We just made it a fraction. Is it an integer? Yes, because integers are whole numbers and they're positives. So that means he is a whole number and he's an integer. So in fact, this one is all 3 categories or all 3 sets. So I'm going to put number 3 here in the middle. Hopefully you got those correct. If not, please make the changes on your Go Math book. Okay, let me move on to the next slide. All right, so if you were in class, this would be our break time, stretching, but we're not, so we'll just move on. We're gonna do these 2 additional examples in your math journal up here. I kind of have where I want you to go. Make sure you look at that for every slide. And now we're gonna classify each number by naming the sets or sets they belong to. Again, I'm gonna ask you to pause the video, answer those 2 letters, come back and see what the answers were and if you got them correct, okay? All right, welcome back again. Let's go ahead and get the answers for this one. So 8, so let's think. Can I put it over 1? Yes, so this is a rational number. Is it an integer? Absolutely, because it's a whole number with their opposite, and it is absolutely a whole number. So that means letter A are all 3 sets. It's a rational number, it's an integer, and it's a whole number. Letter B, -21, we can put that over 1, and I made that into a fraction. Is it an integer? Absolutely, because it's a negative whole number. And it is not a whole number because it has a negative. So that means it only hits those 2 subsets, or those 2 sets of numbers. All right, so at this time, that is the presentation that I went over during class. So right now, what you need to work on is in Schoology, I have a independent practice assignment for you to do right here. So you're gonna go to week 2, the Wednesday folder, and the assignment that I want you to do is this one right here. It is the independent practice. You're gonna submit it through Schoology. And then once you finish, you're gonna work on this exit ticket also in Schoology, okay? This Friday, we will have a quiz in class. If you have any notes that you have, you can use it during the quiz in class. I hope to see you all in your live sessions during math. Please make sure to work on those assignments in the Wednesday folder for week 2. So you'll have 2 things. The first one is that independent practice. And then the second one is that exit ticket on Schoology. So first one, second one, everything will be in Schoology in that Wednesday folder. You'll have a wonderful day. I hope to see you in my live session.